Greetings. It is with great pleasure that I welcome you to our webinar series titled, We Can Achieve More, a dialogue on the Black male Ohio State experience. I hope that everyone present is both healthy and safe. My name is Dan Thomas, and I serve as the Program Director for the Todd Anthony Bell National Resource Center on the African American Male. Today, you are participating in the first session of a four-part series designed to provide Black males a platform to speak candidly concerning their experiences while holding these two identities and engaging with the university. During the conversation, we hope to share vital support units on campus, university challenges, and future opportunities in which Ohio State can strengthen their partnership and direct support to this subpopulation. Our session today will focus solely on the Black male undergraduate experience. We will start the webinar by asking the panelists questions that we have previously prepared. Please feel free to ask additional questions using the Q&A function, and we will address them throughout the presentation. Without further ado, I would like to welcome today's moderator, Dr. James Elmore III, who serves as Vice Provost for Diversity and Inclusion, Chief Diversity Officer for the university, and Executive Director for the Bell National Resource Center. I present to you, Dr. Moore.
Thank you, Dan. Thank you for coordinating this fabulous event. Hopefully it'll be an eventful evening with these fabulous panelists. We asked the panelists to just share their experiences at Ohio State and beyond, and how we can make this institution more ideal for them, as well as many others across the university enterprise. The Bell National Resource Center has a storied history at the university, and we're proud to say that nearly 50% of the Black males at the undergraduate level have a cumulative 3.0 or better. I could argue that there's probably not many universities in the United States with the number of Black males on a campus that have that kind of record. That's a testament to Mr. Dan Thomas, as well as the many other people who work in the Bell National Resource Center on the African American Male, as well as our many partners at the university and beyond. So today, I don't want to take too much of my time and sharing pleasantries, but I am delighted that we're having this webinar. It's not too often that we get an opportunity to hear from the actual voices, the individuals who experience what it's like to be at Ohio State. And I would imagine there are some outstanding things, and we want to hear those things as well as those things as an institution where we can do better. Ohio State has a rich history of trying to constantly improve and leave a better mark. So we're going to start out as a round robin, and then I'll try to direct the questions directly to individuals. But let's do a round robin to get people warmed up. So how would you characterize your experience as a Black male at OSU? How would you characterize your experience as a Black male at OSU?
I'll go first. I'm Sly Worthy. I'm a fourth year undergraduate student, double majoring in social work and African American studies. How would I characterize my experience as a Black male at OSU? I think it looks different from when I first got to campus and now. I think when I first got to campus, I was very aware of the statistics against Black males and their achievement in higher education. So I think that just made me always think about that. And since it did make me always think about that, I was always in a mode where it's like, always got to do extra or double the work to make sure that I also don't be a part of one of those statistics. And that I try to carve a future that I would like to see. But then I think as my years went on, I would say that sometimes one of the things I run into is trying to figure out whether you are a token or if you are like actually there because like you've done things, you put yourself in those positions to be there, or are you just a face and an identity that needs to be like in the forefront? But I also think that I've done a good job, and that like BNRC and ODI in general have done a good job of surrounding us with other Black males, and they can serve as mentors also. So I think that's how I would kind of characterize my experience.
Thank you, Sly.
Hello, my name is Enoch. I'm a third year double majoring in political science and psychology. I have a minor in diversity, equity, and inclusion, and I'm on the pre-law track. So I would characterize my experience at OSU as growing, you know. I'm currently in my third year, so it's very different than when I also first started on campus. But I would think that just like life, it has its ups and its downs. And I think that one thing that OSU has taught me, especially as a Black male, is how to navigate those downs and turn them into ups. So that's how I would characterize it, as very growing.
Thank you.
Hello, everybody.
Oh,
My name is Timothy Hinton, and I'm a third year senior here at Ohio State studying psychology. And I would characterize my experience at Ohio State as similar to Sly and Enoch, as blossoming, because from the moment I stepped on the university to now, it has been a process of growth, and I've been supported in a lot of different areas from the university, especially BNRC and ODI. They have brought me a lot of different resources to build myself up and just continue growing as an individual, bringing me opportunities to network with different professionals and just holistically grow. So I really think that my experience in characterizing it will be best. The best word would be blossoming.
Hi, my name is Julian Slate. I'm a third year accounting major with a minor in security and intelligence. I say my experience this far would definitely be rich and fruitful. I've been blessed to just be able to network and get to know so many people on campus, people of color, especially, whether it be through BNRC, most of my friends being of direct African descent. I've been blessed to be a part of AYL, African Youth League, Black Student Association, and just knowing a lot of people on various e-boards, for people of color on campus. So I definitely say socially it's been fruitful outside of the classroom. And you already know Ohio State, school-wise, it's been great for me. But definitely say fruitful and rich.
Hello, everyone. My name is Terry Johnson. I'm a fifth year senior, also a student athlete on a men's track and field team. And my major is construction systems management, and I'll be graduating in this December. So I would say my experience has really been eye-opening, just because like my first few years, I really didn't know what to expect. And then kind of being involved with athletics is really hard to.
You unmute your.
Okay. Hi, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Oh, hi. So my name is Terry Johnson. I'm a fifth year senior, former student athlete on the men's track and field team. And my major is construction systems management, and I'll be graduating in December. So I would say my experience at Ohio State has been very eye-opening, just because first coming here, I didn't really know what all to expect and the different resources that were available. And I would say I wasn't very active in like the BNRC coming in. So my first 2 years, I wasn't really active in much. So after kind of navigating and learning different resources here at Ohio State, really showed like some of the powerful things that people are doing on this campus just for African American males, just like what you all are doing, and I'll say within athletics, but then like social engagement, how they're kind of persuading us and pushing us to really do more outside of athletics. So I really appreciate them for kind of getting me involved, because my last 2 years I've been more involved than ever. So my experience here has really been eye-opening. I've been able to learn a whole lot and then really use the resources that's available here.
My name is Hamidun John. I'm a third-year architecture major from Columbus, Ohio, and my experience at Ohio State would be characterized as life-changing. Are you guys able to hear me through this mask? Can you guys hear me now? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
All right, cool. My name is Hamidun John, third year architecture major. My experience at OSU has been very life-changing. I've met so many individuals from so many backgrounds, so many different places, so many religions, and everybody brings something unique to the table. And I just go ahead and just fulfill from everybody and just grow and develop accordingly. I've had so many academic achievements and beyond measure as well. And just very grateful for ODI departments and other several departments that have contributed towards my success, and very fulfilling.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone. My name is Mark A. Augustine. I'm a fourth year athletic training student from Spring Valley, New York. I would say my experience at OSU has been encouraging. Can you hear me? Yes. Has been encouraging. I like working within athletics and working within the BNRC. I was wrapped in the BNRC my freshman year and was able to meet other Black men on campus, form friend groups through the BNRC, but then also working with athletics. I've noticed Black men who haven't had that same opportunity, like Terry had explained. So just seeing how much the university pushes for us to be part. Okay. I'm sorry. Let me try this differently.
You hear me now?
Yes.
Yes, cool. So I would say that my experience at OSU has been encouraging, because as I worked with the BNRC and met different Black males through the BNRC, I have kind of gained a community, especially being an out-of-state student, not really knowing anybody, not really knowing anything much about Ohio. And then working in athletics, I've noticed how, like how Terry explained, many Black athletes are not necessarily always involved within OSU's Black community. So just being like somewhat of a connect between athletics through my athletic training clinicals and talking to the Black men there, and also having Black role models has been really encouraging to do things that promote Black men on campus and worldwide.
Well, I certainly appreciate, and it sounds like everyone is having an evolving experience at Ohio State University. And so I'm going to try to probe a little deeper and be asked for you to do some reflecting and introspectively about your experience at OSU. In terms of social interactions, have you ever felt threatened or targeted for being a Black male while on campus or off campus during your time at OSU? And if so, who would like to share what that experience was like? No one? Okay.
So I can say that on campus in my 3 years so far, I have not been, or I do not feel like I've been targeted for being a Black male. I can say that off campus though, or the surrounding areas near campus, is a different story. Just like from personal experience and friends who are also Black males. I do know like police officers or campus police do target Black males, especially coming back late at night, not knowing if they're students or not, and like checking to see IDs and things like that. I can also like testify to like some fraternities being a little hostile to Black males or just Black students in general off campus. But other than that, I can really say no, that I haven't.
Tell me more about what you just said, and thank you for your candor when you talk about off campus and how you feel like you've been targeted. You know, how do you know that that is not just a routine? And what makes you think it's very specific to you being a Black male?
Yeah, so like a story that comes to mind is just like me and my friend were coming back from a night, and there was we were going back to our dorms, and there was campus police that kind of was following us, and then they like stopped us over and was like, "What business pretty much do you have here?" And we're like, "We're just going back to our dorms," you know. So and they immediately asked to see IDs, confiscated with my friend's Black ID, questioning if it was real. And I'm like, why would my friend need to have a fake Black ID? And then proceeded to follow him all the way into his dorm, into his room, and made sure he got into like his room. Just like seeming like going the extra step to really confirm if he was a student here. And it's like, I never heard of any stories of that happening to my like friends. And it's like, it just seemed unfathomable that we could be students at OSU to this police officer. Like it just didn't fit his image of a student at OSU. You could tell he was, I mean, I've never had my Buck ID or my friend's Buck ID questioned before. Like, why would I need to possess a fake Buck ID? It was the whole thing. And I was just like, obviously doesn't think that a Black male attends OSU. So that was an instant of targeting that I could think about.
No, I appreciate you saying that. So has anyone else had any kind of experiences like that, or heard on a consistent basis similar experiences like that from their peers?
I think most of it comes from like off campus, and definitely like he was saying, at like kind of like the nightlife. Me personally, I don't know if y'all could tell, but I'm kind of like a bigger guy. So like I used to work at like some clubs and bars as like security, and I think they definitely enforce racist. They have some racist like dress codes. That's something that was super large, something that was super huge. But I think most of it is coming from like nightlife, and then like when people, especially, I think you see this a lot, not even with just Black males in general. I think it's bigger for Black males, just because I feel like we're seen as, what's the word, like hyper. Somebody help me out.
Violent,
hyper masculine,
aggressive.
Yeah, hyper masculine. We're seen as like hyper masculine, and then especially like me working, and then you'll see like a lot of people who like look at you as like an instant threat because I'm bigger, but also you see this with like smaller African American males or just Black males in general. So I don't really see it on campus, but I can definitely attest to it like off campus nightlife. I think that's something that's also very well known around campus. It's not something that's trying to be hidden. I think a lot of people know that.
Thank you. Anyone else?
I would just add that Columbus, it is a city. We're connected to the city, but campus wise, it's important that you understand the environment that you put yourself within. I know that I won't be at a party by myself without a couple friends of mine, or some people that I know there. So in terms of going, whether it be to like a party that may be thrown by white people, I won't be by myself. I'll be with friends of mine who I trust if anything were to go down. So your environment that you're in is definitely important. to be able to understand.
Thank you. If you could do it all over again, would you come to Ohio State? Why or why not?
I can start that. I would say part of me would say yes, just because of a lot of the things I was able to accomplish here and learn from here. But another part of me wanted to go, like, leave Columbus, because I'm from Columbus, and go to like HBCU just to get that different experience and kind of see more, really a way higher percentage of Black male students. But it's kind of half and half, because I really enjoyed my time here and I learned a lot. But it is a feeling of maybe I could have got a different experience. I went to like HBCU or like a different type of school.
No, Terry, I want to unpack that. You came to Ohio State. You're saying basically overall you had a good experience, but you're still not quite sure to some degree that what do you think you would have got at from an HBCU that we couldn't replicate, or we didn't replicate, or haven't replicated at OSU for you?
I would say mainly just for me coming in, just being comfortable in my surroundings. Just because, like, growing up, it's a predominantly Black elementary school, middle school. It's a little difficult to be comfortable and be open and being yourself. So that experience is probably what I really missed the most. But I mean, now I'm a senior, you really get used to it. But in a sense, you shouldn't have to get used to it. You should still be able to have people like you around you in your classes and a lot of your surroundings.
Yeah. Thank you. Anyone else?
I would definitely do it over again. I'm one of those people, I believe everything happens for a reason. I believe that I was put at Ohio State for a reason. And I think that some of the things that, just in general, how I was able to grow and some of the things that I was able to do here was just a framework for other people to build off of. And I think maybe if I didn't come here, that's essentially erasing some of those things. And also, like, I have a little cousin who's probably going to come to OSU one day. He's a member of the Young Scholars Program. And I just know if I didn't lay some of that foundation, how his experience could look a little bit different. So I think I would not do it over again. I think there's pros and cons to coming to Ohio State and the PWI. Just getting experience, new experiences, different things. But I don't regret it or any type of way. And I just try to do what I can to make sure the next people can build off of something that I can leave here. I think that's something that's really big to me as well.
Well, Sly, I'm gonna ask you, I'm not gonna make the assumption because we have a cross section of individuals who are signed in to this Zoom. Tell us what the Young Scholars Program is and be as succinct and brief as possible. And what did that program do for you that the audience may need to know and hear about?
So essentially the Young Scholars Program is for first-generation college students, low-income first-generation college students, and it's from the 9 largest cities in Ohio. And essentially you go in 6th grade and they they should give you all the support you need and probably even more to make higher education just an option for you. And it's from 6th grade all the way up until you graduate. They walk you through the application process. They basically walk you through half of your K through 12 years. I was fortunate enough that I didn't get into the Young Scholars Program in 6th grade, but some openings happened and I was going into my junior year and I was able to get into the program. And I think that's essentially what made higher education possible to me. I'm one who agrees that you have to be persistent, you have to work hard, but that's not enough for everyone. I had so many peers, so many family members, so many different people who worked so hard, but just didn't get that opportunity to support. And I think that's what really makes the difference. So yeah, the Young Scholars Program is essentially the reason why higher education was even possible to me. And they set it up to where, like, even if I did not want to come to Ohio State, I would still know how to walk through that application process and still take some of those skills that they taught us from those years that I was in the Young Scholars Program and be able to use it. They were universal. So the Young Scholars Program is a great program, and it makes higher education a possibility for so many future first-generation college students.
Well, it sounds like the Young Scholars Program started early and soon, and they had consistent interactions with SLI. But usually in the junior and senior year, that's when relationships are established by a university in terms of the recruitment process. Can anyone share if and how the university courted you during your junior and senior year? And what were some of the, I guess, things that hooked you to Ohio State? Okay.
I think my story to OSU is a little different than others, which is something that's interesting. So I'm actually from Connecticut, and
Wow.
when I was in high school, I actually was looking at a couple of different other schools, and OSU came to me through a family relation, and she was like, "You should apply, and you should apply for the Moral Scholars Program." And I was like, "Okay, like whatever, like I'll apply, why not?" So added into a couple of my other schools, applied, and did not really give much notice. I got accepted for the first round of Moral Scholars. Still wasn't like interested as I should have been in hindsight, and still like looking at other schools, and then OSU like emailed me and they're like, "We want to fly you out to the school, and like you can like, I think it was like follow a Buckeye or something, like spend the weekend." And I was like, okay, like looking more heavily at the school now. Then I got into the second round of Moral Scholars, got accepted for distinction, and I was like, okay, I'm listening. So I came to the school, liked it, was a little large, I was a little nervous, I was still waiting from other schools, and I wasn't fully sold just because I only had a slight interaction with Moral Scholars at the time. Like I mainly followed just a normal student for the weekend. Didn't get to really see like what ODI was about. So life happened and I ended up coming to orientation, enrolling into OSU, and still scared, still not fully hooked. And it was actually at my early arrival program that I was fully sold onto OSU. And it was my early arrival by MSP. Basically, it was like a full week before school started with other scholars. Everything was like included, like dorm, your meals, everything. And like it was a full like week of events tailored to like success in the school, success for like minorities within the scholarship, because that scholarship is very diverse in its makeup. So like thankfully like I was able to like kind of like form a subunit within the other Black scholars in that group. And I think that's what really made me committed to OSU. I saw how much like investment they put into making me feel a part of. And I was like, yeah, I made the right choice. So that's how OSU courted me.
Which, you know, as I said to Slide, there's a cross section of individuals that is signed on today. Give us a short synopsis or a brief overview. What is the Moral Scholarship Program in the simplest form, so the audience will be able to glean what are you talking about when you say a Moral Scholarship Program?
Yeah, so the Moral Scholarship Program is, I believe, OSU's only merit diversity scholarship available. So it goes from tuition to full cost of attendance. And the qualifications for it are basically like merit to like your academic record, things like that. And then like form of diversity, which can honestly range from anything, which is why I feel like the Moral Scholarship encompasses a wide variety and range of students. you apply for it in high school. So it's not really something that is like recruitment based, like the Young Scholarships program. It's something that like you just see on OSU's website as like a senior in high school, and you have to apply for externally. And based on that, if you are move forward, you can either qualify for the first round, which is just tuition. And then if you move past that, you can qualify for full cost of attendance. So yeah.
Thank you. Excellent job. You got it to memory. Just one more thing I would like to ask. I mean, you came from Connecticut in the New England, which is a totally different kind of experience. It's clear you had your eyes, you had a lot of great institutions out east, but we were able to seal the deal, thank goodness. What were some of those other institutions you were considering? And really, be honest with you, what was the deal breaker for you? Because I'm assuming, like all of you all, you had lots of options, and it's important that that the audience understand that you all had lots of options. But you, for whatever reason, tell us, what were those other institutions that you were considering, and what was the deal breaker for ODI? I mean, for the OSU.
So some institute, like the major institution I was considering was Georgetown, Fordham, and OSU. So I visited Georgetown, I got in, and they didn't give me a single dollar. And also, it was extremely, like, I don't know if you guys are familiar with the acronym WEIRD. It was white, wealthy, rich, not diverse in the slightest of way. They didn't have anything to do with diversity scholarships. You could just tell it was very business as usual. So that was a extreme like push away. Also, they didn't seem to care like OSU cared. Like they didn't really like care if I visited after my acceptance or not. They didn't like reach out. It just like was like, you can tell they didn't need or want me as like, I don't know. It was like interesting. And then Fordham was just too much in the city for me. And then OSU seemed like a perfect fit, and that's how I came here. Because because MSB, and then the whole follow the Buckeye thing. So, yeah.
Thank you. Any other comments, reactions, or okay, Tim?
100%. So when I was in high school, I was really interested. I always wanted to come to Ohio State. It was one of my top schools, and I just kept up with everything. But I had got a few different scholarship offers from other schools for my academic standing, including Miami University and Ohio University. So I was really thinking about going to those, but I wanted to do a couple different programs. So I did the bridge program at Miami, and then I did a Ohio Business Week for Ohio University. And then for Ohio State, I did something called BSLA. And BSLA is the Buckeye Student Leadership Academy, and it's for rising seniors to apply for the program. And it's for underrepresented minority students. And it was just an excellent program. They brought us in and they gave us an experience with different professors for the university, and we got to interact with students from the university. And like from the moment I stepped on campus and would have those interactions, I just felt at home. I felt comfortable because I saw, a lot of people that look like me in that surrounding, and just the fact that there was a program that was meant just for me to see the university with people who looked like me, to kind of connect with these individuals before coming to the university. That's what really drew me in. And I also, I was very blessed in high school to have a College Credit Plus program. So the College Credit Plus program, my college career readiness coach, Dr. Kuntz at Sandusky High School, he told me, he said, hey, Ohio State has this College Credit Plus thing that you can do. And I was like, okay. So I applied for it and I got in. So I had already been taking a few classes from Ohio State, and I was very comfortable with the classes, and I felt the classes were very challenging and rigorous, and I was feeling good about it. So that added to my decision as well, like the academic rigor and the communication between the academic advisors that were reaching out to me, as well as my initial interactions with the business school. And I'm psychology now, but initially I was going for business, and I was able to get into another program through Ohio State, and it was just a 3-hour briefing on being an African American in the Fisher College of Business. And I believe I was able to talk to Mr. Harrison in the Fisher department and the Fisher College of Business. And he was absolutely amazing, and he really just gave us a lot of different resources, gave us a lot of different contacts, connections, and Black students who are actually in the Fisher College of Business, and it felt right. It felt right to come to Ohio State, and like I said, it was a big decision for me and the decision came based on the school that I was comfortable with, based on those around me that looked like me. And when I came to Ohio State, all the programs that I went to, it was very inclusive and very inclusive based. And I remember in the BSLA program that I was doing, they were big, very big on diversity and inclusion. We had a whole chant on diversity and inclusion, and that's what they were pouring into our heads. And I felt comfortable. And like I said before, I felt at home. So that's really how the university courted me and just made me feel like this was the right fit for me.
Well, I just want for all those who have spoken how good it feels so good to hear what you're saying, because I didn't kind of coach you to say anything, because I know, a person who do this kind of research and who's devoted a great deal of their lives, my life and career to working with Black males and doing research in this area, is that I know it's some of our large public universities, there's less than 500 Black males at the undergraduate level at some of our large public universities. And I think at Ohio State, at least last year, based on the numbers, we had a little over 1,300. And one of the big challenges that we get around the country, even though we probably had over 50 different universities who have reached out to us because some of the successes we have had because of students just like you, is everybody's looking for the magic wand. And some would say, man, it's a major challenge as you begin to look throughout the educational continuum. We see challenges for this group in almost every category where we can kind of pinpoint a doom and gloom story. We usually find Black males connected to it, unfortunately, and that's from K to gray throughout their educational experiences. So it's certainly good to hear some of the things that you all highlighted and about, but you're also sharing, providing some nuggets for the audience to pull from, how you felt and the people who you got to interact with and other students. And so it sounds like what you're sharing is nothing new, but it seems like institutions are still struggling to do the things that don't really cost a lot of money, right? And so what I want you all to kind of think about for a few minutes, what is it that we can do to get more Black males at this institution? And what do you think beyond preparation? Let's take that off the table, because we could spend all night talking about preparation and the state of public schools. But for those just who are equally qualified like you are, how can we attract more students? I know we have admissions people, enrollment services people, we got student life people on here, we got ODI people, we got deans, we got associate vice presidents on this who are assigned in with us. So people want to hear your perspectives, right? And the perspectives range in this room. So how do you think we can get more? Because you also highlighted feeling like you're the only one. Several of you noted that, and how important it is to have representation of people just like you. And we can look at even within ODI, even most of our programs outside of the Bell National Resource Center, there's a dearth of Black males that we can find in almost any program that we examine on this campus. There's a shortage. And in fact, that was the impetus for creating the Bell National Resource Center, and evolved and became things. So I want to hear, from some people who haven't really talked. Julian, what do you think we can do as an institution to get more Black males?
Going off your previous question, you had talked about doing things that don't cost money. So I remember you specifically had called me after I received my moral scholarship. So I had just taken a driving test, and so it was like a random call, random number. I hadn't, picked up on it. So I do remember that. I remember being courted by Mr. Harrison in the Fisher College of Business as well, talking to my mother about my scholarship and the possibilities that would come with that. But for me, I have a younger brother. He's in high school right now. I had brought him on campus, to go to a party in the past, and so he loved it. But outside of that, I feel comfortable at Ohio State, and that's how you have to get possible recruits or prospective students to look at OSU. For me, I didn't even take a full campus tour. My uncle had been to Ohio State, but it was still, I felt comfortable coming here. I didn't have to, study Ohio State or look too deep into Ohio State for me to feel comfortable going here for, 4 years of school. So, I believe that, for, Ohio State, ODI and, all their, recruitment initiatives, you have, the big key is making people feel comfortable. So for me, I'm a Fisher ambassador. So I give tours to prospective students of the College of Business. So I'm always talking to high schoolers and, telling them about my experiences. And, at these, events, there aren't a lot of people of color that attend. But, when they are there, I make sure I make it a point to, talk to them and make them feel comfortable, inform them about all the different, orgs on campus specifically for people of color. I can get them in contact with e-board members, presidents, vice presidents, stuff like that. So doing we can here as students. I understand that, everybody has, work, school, they're in their own organizations, but, I do feel proud to be able to, do my part in helping, prospective students of Ohio State, with their journey on, coming here.
Well, I certainly appreciate, and Julian, I do recall those calls, and oftentimes students reference them as the call, and I got a South Carolina cell number, and it took me a lot of times before you would answer my call, right? I didn't want to leave a message because I wanted it to be a surprise. Now I got Skype, I don't have to worry about that. It'll be an OSU number. But how important was that call to help make a decision? Because, we take great pride in trying to make those phone calls because we think it's an added touch. It separates us from some of our peers. But how important was that call? Or really it did make a difference? We could have sent you an email and let you know, hey, you won, the moral scholarship. So how important was that call for you?
For me, it was, something unexpected. I had interviewed at Ohio University and the University of Cincinnati for their respective business schools and their honor programs. So I had interviewed just like Ohio State type thing, but your call was unexpected. So when you look at, just etiquette, just let's say I have an interview and me, sending a handwritten note, that's, in today's world, that's probably unexpected from maybe a college student or even, some business professionals, rather than just, send that email. but a handwritten note, just like your call, was unexpected, for me, especially right after my driving lesson. So that was something that just stuck out for me, with my experience prior to deciding to come to Ohio State. But like you said, it is the little things that I believe, I picked up on. Maybe some other people didn't, but that it was just, certain things that Ohio State did that made me feel, all right, this is, a great decision for me to make.
Thank you. Mark, you have any reaction or comments that you would like to share to the?
Yeah, I would like to say that I think we could do a better job at pushing BNRC more, because through my research through BNRC, I've realized that a lot of other institutions don't have a program like the BNRC, don't have a program catered to Black men. So by pushing the BNRC more, giving the BNRC more of a social presence and social image within OSU, I think will draw a lot of Black men towards it. Because for me personally, I'm out of state. I was from New York, so I had no idea what OSU had to offer. I didn't even know about the BNRC. But it wasn't until I got the email about the early arrival program, because I am an MSP and I had gotten an early arrival program from MSP. But I said I wanted to do something different, something that was outside of MSP. So I chose to do the BNRC early arrival program. So I think pushing that definitely is something that will encourage more Black men to apply to OSU and stay in OSU if they see that there is a program within OSU that caters to them. And also going into high schools as well. I feel a lot of high school students sometimes don't always want to go to OSU just because they want to stay away from Columbus, or I'm just saying in the Columbus area in general. They kind of want to stay away from Columbus or go away from Columbus and go venture out, which I understand completely because I only applied to one school in New York. I really wanted to get out of New York, so I get that perspective completely. But definitely going out to those high schools and with our Black students and our Black male students, and just being, not necessarily only being mentors, but actually talking and have these candid conversations with them as well. Not only with the professionals that we have on the call today, but also having those conversations with the students in the high school as well.
Amadou?
Wow. Definitely. Everybody definitely contributed a lot to the table. I believe a few things that we could definitely impact within our community sector to bring more students within Ohio State is a bigger value of mentoring. Okay, mentoring could definitely show individuals the proper direction to head to, and also provide the moral support that they need to execute, and definitely find materials and resources in the near future for them to reach their academic goals, financial goals, or just pursue anything that they want in life in general. So honestly, just offering a helping hand to the community. I personally believe that my success is dependable upon the success of others. So it's only right that you bring them along with you, and you absolutely want them to surpass you. So the generations that are coming could do the same thing over and over. It's more so of a chain reaction. So I believe that that value is very, very important, and we have to, and it'll definitely force us to embark upon this journey of always becoming my brother's keeper, as they say it. All right. Just wanting the best for your fellow brother or your fellow sister. So I think that right there is very imperative within society.
You know, I appreciate you sharing that, and I would be remiss if I didn't say it, is that your older brother came here. And I think it's important for us as a university that we treat siblings and all students well, because just like many of you all highlighted, that your family, some of your family members encourage you to look at us and you value their opinions. And so I think it's important that we treat everybody really well, because our best recruiters are people who actually had the Buckeye experience. I want to encourage the audience to feel free to shoot questions to us, but we have a question from the audience, and one of the questions was each student had said something about the BNRC and how significant it's been for them. You know, what does that mean to be significant? For those of you who mentioned the BNRC, give the audience a sense of what does it bring to the table that if it wasn't here, it would be a major loss to the institution or for your experience. Tim.
If the BNRC wasn't here, I don't think I would be where I'm at today, because the first time I stepped foot on campus after orientation and actually came to the university, I was a part of the EAP, the Early Arrival Program. And right then and there, I met a great community of, other Black brothers, and it just made me feel safe. It made me feel at home even more. It made me feel even more comfortable. And then just having that network with, Mr. Thomas and Dr. Moore, and being able to talk to them, communicate with them, and then having that mentorship with, Mr. Williams, last year and my previous years at the university, and having that success coach, like that was phenomenal. I felt like if I ever had anything that I needed to talk about, I had a safe space to go, with the barbershop talks, and, just talking to, Mr. Thomas, and, trying to set up some meetings with Dr. Moore, because busy man. But I always felt, like I had a space to go to and people to fall back on. And I met most of these brothers here in the EAP, in the program, Mark, Hamidou, Julian, Sly. Like I met all of these fantastic, brothers, and we connected. And then we're just pouring into each other after that program. And then it's absolutely amazing to feel that love from people that look like you, and to be connected right off the bat. And I just felt supported in all aspects. And then just like all the different events that BNRC throws to uplift our Black males on campus, like that is absolutely amazing. And no other university, they don't be doing this, right? So this is phenomenal work. This is absolutely amazing. And like I was coming into the university and I had a lot of different mental health issues going on, right? And just that support from the BNRC, that uplifted me. And that brought me that support system that I needed to overcome some of those issues. So I'm flourishing now. And like I said at the beginning, I categorized my experience at Ohio State as blossoming. And I would say 99.9% of that goes to the BNRC and the support I received from that space.
Thank you. I'm kind of shift a little bit because time is rapidly going by, and I'm gonna somewhat modify this question. How many of you all, and just show me your hands, we don't have to say, think they could get 3 recommendation letters from their professors, people who taught you in your classes at Ohio State, 3 that can make you walk on water? Okay, 2. How many think, okay, 2 of you. I mean, how many think they can get 2, at least 2 recommendations? Okay, so I guess at the end of the day, there's some research that suggests that academic achievement is highly correlated with the relationship a student has with his or her professor. And some would say it's also highly correlated with the number of contact hours you have with your professors. So tell me about those professors that you see. Just don't tell me who the professor is. I don't want to know who the professor is. This is describe the attributes of those professors that you just say who fit in that category, that you can, that you raise your hand, that you feel that they can make you walk on water. It's clear that these are professors that you have a relationship with. So describe those relationships that you have with those professors and why those relationships are important in the classroom for you.
I think the biggest reason why I have those relationships with those people is because we prioritize our relationship as people first and not anything having to do with the classroom. And I think that's like the basis of all types of mentorship, and just building those relationships. I'm a very social person in general, so I feel like I try to talk to as many people as possible, and just get to know different people. But I really think that's the difference maker, and that's the key is really getting to know each other one on one. Like I said, I have mentors where like I know their kids who are in fifth, sixth grade. Like everybody doesn't just introduce a regular college student to like their kids. So like I've been around people's kids and like just building that personal relationship and building that trust with one another. And just recognizing that like, okay, we are students, but we're people first. I think that's the biggest difference maker.
Thank you, Sly. Anyone else?
During my freshman year, I had a phenomenal engineering professor that that definitely instilled the skills of leadership, resilience, teamwork, and these are all very extremely important to ensure personal and professional leadership. And it definitely demonstrated integrity and effective communication through the projects that we were doing. And in the same manner, resilience has allowed me to respond to challenging situations in every aspect. Teamwork is fundamental. It promotes engagement from various ethnic groups and backgrounds, and definitely fuses you towards achieving a common collective goal with various individuals. So I think that right there was a takeaway for me.
Thank you.
I think like just to even touch on your point where you were like, some people believe that achievement in the classroom is correlated with if your professor will write you a recommendation or not. I think that can be the furthest thing from the truth. I think like you could be high achieving in the classroom. You could get 103, for example, and if your professor isn't like personable and relatable and like doesn't seem like he wants to take or he or she doesn't want to take the time to talk to students, then like it's hard to build a relationship to get a letter recommendation. So like those who I do feel comfortable, like the professors that I feel like would write me a letter that would let me walk on water, made it easy to build a relationship with them. And also to speak to that, at OSU, it's a predominantly white institution. So the professors are predominantly white. So being Black, it's already hard to engage with professors. There's not a lot of common ground you can talk about to build a relationship. So those professors that do make it easy to talk, and it's like they extend a bridge. It's like they have to work with you. It's like a two-way street. So those are the professors which are very rare that make it possible to like write you a letter of recommendation and let you walk on water. So yeah.
Well, I can tell you, I will write any letters for any one of you guys because you're easy to walk on water and you're special and you're gonna do amazing things. And I am just honored to be in your presence, to be around such talented individuals. And so it saddens me if you are having experiences that professors are not as engaging and not seeing the genius that you bring to the table. Anyone else?
Yes, I would like to add.
Go ahead, Terry.
Oh, thanks. I would just like to add, from my experience in construction, a lot of my professors have been able to build some really good relationships, mainly because of their genuine love for the profession and how they really like enjoy kind of teaching and preparing the new wave of like engineers and construction managers to be successful as them or even more successful. So from my experience with them, they've just genuinely just cared about what they do and how they teach and making sure that we understand it. Sometimes they don't even necessarily worry about grades. It's more of just how much we learn and how much we absorb, so when we're ready to graduate and get out there that we really are prepared. So from my experience in my major, it's been a lot of good relationships built.
It's great. Thank you, Terry. Julian?
Similar to Terry, I actually have a mentor
within the College of Business. She goes by the name of Dr. Cynthia Turner. And so she's the Chief Diversity Officer within the Fisher College of Business. I actually met her through kind of like a accounting camp before I came to Ohio State. So definitely privileged to have her, in my corner. I'm in her program called Project Thrive for accountants, diverse students who are studying accounting as well. So she's always, sending internship opportunities, wants us to, do well, thrive, within the College of Business as well as, as a student holistically. I'll have a meeting with her this Sunday with the rest of our kind of like our cohort under her program. We took a class with her. So she's definitely someone who, like you said, who, could write a letter of recommendation for me, but also someone who I can always connect with, after I graduate, any other opportunities besides business that may come up. She may mention my name or, when I'm not in the room. So, definitely privileged to have her in my corner as well. She's just, someone I wanted to make note of.
Thank you. Anyone else?
I would like to say, I'm typically a shy person, but I ask a lot of questions. So when I'm in the classroom, you're gonna know I'm in your classroom. So I had this one mentor who, she's a Black woman, and she was actually the first Black athletic trainer that I'd ever met. So just building a connection with her, where we became, in a sense, each other's relief, where it wasn't always just about athletic training, it was just about life. And talking about Black experiences as OSU and Black experiences as athletic trainers as well. I believe just making that relationship with her and just being able to have somebody to talk to that wasn't just academics. I feel like that was really important when it came to creating relationships. Like I've met her children as well, like Sly had mentioned, like that's something that I'd never expected to do as a college student, meet my professor's children. But it's just something that happened. There's an opportunity that arose, and kind of also tutored her children as well. So it was just different things like that. And being able to foster those relationships outside the classroom became really important for me.
Wow, thank you, Mark. Well, thank you for sharing and for your candor around this. So the university, we struggle, as you probably can imagine, that a disproportionate number of the faculty are white. And it doesn't mean that they can't engage students. I don't want to suggest that, but it's clear from what you all shared that you see value in having Black professors. And so can you just speak to how important it is for the university to work hard to get more Black and more diverse faculty in your specific academic areas? Can you speak to that and tell us why that's important, you think?
So I think it's very, very important. And I do think it's something our university needs to get better at. I know just for me specifically, I'm in the College of Social Work, which is the College of Social Work. I think they are great, phenomenal. But also like there is no Black male faculty member there. So like, and I'm not saying like for me as a mentor, somebody has to be like a Black male. But I just think that helps a lot, especially going into a field of social work, a field that's not dominated by people that look like me, that I am a minority being a male and a Black person. So like, it forces you to like try to find somebody who's been down that path before, but it's hard because like none of your professors look like you. So I think that's the biggest thing. And that kind of, I think it was a blessing in disguise, because that's really how I met one of my other mentors. And he's done a great job with me, just walking me through the complexities of like higher education in general. And even though I can't find that in the College of Social Work, like I had to go outside and look in different colleges and find it there. So I think it's very, very, very important just to see like representation and to see somebody that looks like you in a position like that and the position you potentially want to be in. I think that's one of the things that can make the biggest difference. You can really get to pick their brain, obviously, because they're in a position that they were once in a position that you are in now. So it's easy to have those conversations. And they're interested somewhat in the same type of thing as you, because you guys are in the same college. So I just think that's super important. But I will also encourage, like, especially like some of us, even like on this panel, even if that person isn't in your college, your mentor or whatever, they do not have to be in your college. A lot of faculty and staff here are great. Just get to know them. And I think that they can still make a big difference, even if they're not necessarily in the same area of focus.
Well, and I appreciate you sharing those insights, Sly. And I think that's very indicative of you and your experience at OSU. I know that there are some colleges working really hard. I'm going to somewhat boast my College of Education and Human Ecology under the leadership of Dean Don Pope Davis has done amazing work in trying to diversify the college. He's pushing the envelope, and I know he would love to hear at some juncture about your experience, even though you're not in this college, because you're able to utilize some of the resources of the faculty that he's brought. I know Dr. Scott Graves is one of your mentors, and that's an example, a real-time example of the importance of bringing in diverse faculty. And when colleges are not making progress in that area, there are opportunities for students to reach across colleges for other mentorship. But the challenge, and I just love to hear your opinion about it, is that Ohio State is very siloed, right? And we tend to be, and the more you progress in your academic program, the more likely you're going to stay within your college or in the confinements of that building and those courses. And sometimes it's great when you have great mentors and you found that success, but it probably can be quite miserable if you haven't found your mojo in those connections. So I think it's important for us to really recognize that. But I would love to hear I've heard your perspectives. We're getting down to the end. What would be some of those closing remarks that you would like to make that you don't want us to miss, that those who are listening in, that they really need to hear? And so we'll do a round robin and let you do some closing remarks, if that's okay with Dan, Mr. Thomas, because I want to make sure I leave the balance of the time for him to do a proper closing. So we'll start with Tim.
100%. This experience at Ohio State, it has been phenomenal. And as I stated earlier, I credit a lot of that success that I've had to the BNRC and all the things that BNRC has given me and given me to be supported, loved, and feeling comfortable within the university. And as a Black male, throughout this presentation, it's been said time in and time again, that BNRC needs to be pushed more to students coming in, and just also given that resource is very important for students coming in and students at the university as well. Just people to know about that and to really be present in that space, because it is amazing thing. And just being a Black male on campus with the BNRC, it's just been amazing. So I'm trying to think anything else that I wanted to say.
Okay, well, thank you, Tim. Julian.
Thank you. I would just add that professionally, I've obtained an internship. I've done well in the classroom. I've done well socially, but I would say still, I'm a junior. There's more I have to do in terms of relationship building with administrators. That's where the real, clout, if you will, is with, faculty and staff. They're here for a reason. They're here for us. And they want to, allow us to have the best experience possible. So that's where I know individually, that's where I need to, network more. I am a business major, and my mom raised me to, always network. You never know who you'll meet, who you may need, or who you can help. But that's where I still feel like there's more people I can meet, get to know on a deeper level, and that's an understanding that I have, but also for prospective students to have. There's always more that you can do to get the most out of your experience at Ohio State. There's so many people who I've talked to, and they're like, man, I wish I did this or that. And most of the time, it's involving faculty or getting involved on a deeper level besides maybe just partying or anything like that. So that's definitely something that I want to work on for the next couple of years that I have here. Besides that, college is definitely an experience where you get to learn a lot about yourself. Through the BNRC and other, organizations I've been a part of, I have the privilege of, having a close, group knit of, people I can call family on campus and people I can count on. I definitely feel tooled and ready to, attack anything, with their support, alongside of my family. But there's definitely, the opportunities here for, prospective high schoolers or transfer students, anyone to come here and be able to, take advantage of, the resources that are here at Ohio State. So that's kind of just my last impression. Thank you.
Because of time, I want to make sure I leave Mr. Thomas some time. I will try to be succinct. You all just got warmed up. I can tell you want to go another hour. Terry.
So hi, this was part of my reflection. I'm gonna try to be brief. I think what Julian said was really good as far as networking. That is huge, but I won't get into too much of that. But one thing I wanted to say is kind of everybody listening now to challenge yourself or challenge any of the brothers on campus to find what they're passionate about or what they really want to get involved in, and to kind of challenge them to get involved in it now, really while they're at Ohio State. And the resources and the networks are here and available. So just because I'm not even gonna get all the way into it, but it's just so many resources here, and a lot of people know a lot of different things. So if it's something you're really passionate about, or someone's passionate about it, challenge them to get involved now, and because you really never know what can come out of it. So that's kind of all I wanted to say for that.
Thank you, Mark.
I'd like to say that my relationship with OSU has definitely been rocky, but without ODI and without the Black mentors that I've had through ODI, BNRC, and my program, I wouldn't be at OSU today. So definitely push to have that Black representation, push to have those Black mentors that can have candid conversations with their students, and push the BNRC and all the resources that they have for you, or for the students at OSU.
Thank you. Sly.
I would just like to thank Ohio State and BNRC and ODI just for like the opportunity to be at Ohio State. But one of my challenges will just be to challenge everyone to keep that growth mindset, keep reflecting, and just seeing how we can get better. Obviously, like, our experiences are real. Our situation, there's some pros and cons to it, but I think if we just keep trying to get better, we can really make this the best space for Black males. And I think that's going to be very pivotal in reach Ohio State actually reaching its full potential. So,
Enoch.
So in a few short words, being Black at OSU, or being a Black male at OSU, is obviously a difficult thing. But I believe OSU has done a great job with ODI, with MSP, to keep us here. It helps us stay, it helps us push through. So just like from what I was like picking up on the call, and just to summarize, like, to push that further, how do you not only keep Black male students wanting to stay at OSU, but how do you want them to come here? So it's time for those programs to go even further. Like I would have loved if my MSP program, my EA program was my orientation for school, or was a program that flew me out. That would have signed the deal earlier along in my high school journey. So it's time for us to go further, but I think we're doing a great job. So yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Last but not least, Hamadou.
Wow, you guys all nailed it. Honestly, education is the most powerful tool that you can use to optimize and maximize your growth and development. Education is simply transcendent. 7 billion individuals inhabit this world, from in different shades, color, genders, and customs. Okay. However, education is common amongst us all. So you definitely have to take advantage of the resources that are granted to us, okay? And definitely use them to the best of our ability, and always impact others. Always impact others, okay? This notion of I doesn't really work. It's a collective group of we. And we always have to remember our core values, our core ethics, and definitely reaching this high amount of success. And definitely, thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Thomas, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Moore. I would like to thank you and our panelists for participating in today's session. I hope everyone agrees that the information gained was both authentic and rich. If you enjoyed today's session, I recommend that you register for our next session, which will be held on October 29th, 2 weeks from today, that will address the Black male graduate and professional student experience. Until then, have a great evening and stay safe. Goodbye.